Today is the 11th day of March 2013, and we're back with Robi to talk some more about the early days of the ashram. Welcome, Robi.
Thank you.
Perhaps you could tell us about some of this long list of older ashramites and some of your recollections.
See, you have started alphabetically.
Oh, I've done it alphabetically. You take anything you
No,
want.
I'll go like, for example, Avashin.
Yeah.
I knew him very, very well.
Oh.
We were even partners in tennis,
Huh.
myself and Avashin. And the first time I came here in 1941, Avashin also was working in atelier. He was Mrityunjay, Pavitrada was in charge, but Pavitrada, he had to go any time. It wasn't certain for the war. He might have been called. So he had given the charge to Mrityunjay, and Avashin was the main man. So I have worked with Avashin since 1941 in many respects. And he would consult me on many things. Many things. He had great determination, and he was a very good organizer. Very good organizer. During his time, the atelier ran so smoothly, he expanded it. He had tremendous organizing capability. But then, ultimately, he had his problems with the trustees and he withdrew and he gave up atelier and all that.
He did Nandanam, didn't he?
Yes, Nandanam,
Yes,
you
he
will
did.
not believe.
Yes.
We went hunting for a place where the children who didn't get admission will be able to do their physical exercise.
Oh.
And myself and Avashin were going on searching places and we found Nandanam.
Ah.
We were together when that place was found.
He
And
told me the story of 300 cobras there,
Yes,
and he had a man with a flute, and they caught them all. And
fantastic. Fantastic. He was a very strong personality, Avashin. And having withdrawn from active participation in departments, he wasn't really happy, although he wouldn't agree to it. But I knew him till his last days very well. I used to go to his room. He was shifted, where Gurusami used to live before.
I know his room very well.
Yes.
Yes. I would go there and meet him in Dhanvanti.
Yes. He was a good sportsman. Tennis especially was very good. And his thing is, whatever he took up, he developed to the end, He was really very, very good. During his time, the atelier ran smoothly. It produced beautiful work. It expanded a lot. It even went into construction. So many things were done during his time. Next, I'll come to Amal Kiran. Amal Kiran, I have nothing to say. Apart from, everyone knows about him, you all know about him, you have read his things. His sense of humor was fantastic. While he was quite old. You remember Dr. Patil?
Yeah. Yeah, tell.
Yes, when he passed away, we were sitting in Temi's room, that bulletin office.
Ah, yes.
And suddenly he said, I have got an epitaph for Dr. Patil. So we asked him what. He said, it goes like this. Just he had composed it at that time. Straight away. He says, stranger, come to this grave with gravity. Dr. Patil is filling his last cavity. He was very humorous. Amba Bhikshu, I knew him a little, not very much. He's much senior to me.
Ah, yes.
But he was a dedicated sadhak, absolutely. But a little rigid also.
I remember his garden.
Yes, it's still called, I think, Ambavekshu's garden, isn't it?
Is it? Uh-huh.
And his son is there, Jagdish. Jagdish is his son, you know that.
I had heard, yes, we went to him and he refused to
He is Ambavekshu's son. He is also very rigid. Ambu, of course, as I told you last time, for many years I used to have dinner at his place. He was, as he put himself, he says he was mother's case. He wouldn't write to Shyamda, he would write everything to mother and mother will answer. He was a very interesting personality, very short-tempered to start with. Then, of course, he quietened down. He was very fond of dressing up, shorts he would wear, but he will even put up makeup at one time.
I can share a story with you.
Tell me.
I took 17 photos
Yes.
of his asanas, and it was outside in that, where it was bare soil, and he put his mats down, and I was trying to be absolutely perfect in every photograph, and I hear this voice saying in the midst of an incredibly difficult asana, "Could you hurry it up a little bit?"
Because you see, he had given up. Then he restarted. For many years, he had given up. When the playground started again, he restarted. Others, for many years, he didn't do anything. Amritada was a very sweet person, as I told you last time.
Yes.
He was wonderful. I mean, I can't add anything to that, really. Anupurani, of course, I knew a little. She was a very good dancer. I mean, she was a good composer, Aurobindo Basu, I knew only in course of work. He was bringing out a journal. I forget the name.
Gaveshana.
Yes. And for the printing of that, that's how we came in contact with each other. Champaklal, of course, I don't want to say anything. You know all about him. Kunuma. It's not Kunama,
Yes,
Kunuma.
Yes.
He was an extremely intelligent man. Extremely intelligent. He wouldn't give you that impression. He was a lawyer by profession. He was at one time Minister of Pondicherry State,
No, I didn't.
Yes. During the French regime, at one point there were 3 ministers, Dr. André, Kunuma and Saravan, and all 3 were devotees of Sri Aurobindo. And in the ashram, near the ashram gate, all 3 will sit on the footpath and chat. They were ministers. Kunuma was a lawyer by profession. He was extremely shrewd. But, well, that's about all I can say. The other side, I don't know how serious.
I heard one story,
Yeah.
and I don't recall who told me the story, but it was a very lovely story. After balcony darshan,
Yes.
mother called him up, and she said, "Did you feel anything this morning?" And he said, "No, mother, I never feel anything. I'm looking for this one and what he has to do, and tell this one what he has to do." And mother said, "Good, you do my work, I'll do your sadhana."
That's wonderful. Because I don't think consciously he made any effort to do sadhana. He must have, I don't know. But he was very matter of fact. And he was always worried about funds. Always worried about funds. As long as it didn't mean expenses, he would agree to it. Because he was the managing trustee at one point. After mother passed away, Kunuma was the managing trustee. And he was very, very clear about one thing. Cut down the expenses as much as you can. And as you said, nothing negative to be said, so I don't say it. because it's best not to include anything negative.
No.
Dayabhai, I don't know much except that he used to play with us. He was good in volleyball.
Hmm.
He had come from Africa. He was a very jovial chap. But I really don't know
Very
much.
close to me.
Yes. He was?
Yes, mother put me in what was called Porca Charbon
Yes.
in those
In
days.
those days it
And
was
he looked
Pakistan.
after me.
Dr. Nripendra, whatever his qualifications might have been, but I have never seen a more sympathetic doctor than him. Call him at midnight, he will come on his cycle. There was nothing else in those days, no motorcycles, nothing. Midnight he will come, he is there. And the children took to him so well. The whole organization of medicine here, Nripendra was responsible. Even the nursing home, he collected money, he got the place, the building started. Unfortunately, he passed away. I think just as it opened or before it opened, a few days before it opened.
But he was very fond of children.
Very
Oh,
fond,
yes.
I remember.
very fond of children. And all these things, soup distribution, then that afternoon khichdi and all that, once a week. He was very fond of children and he was a very good organizer also. Whatever his qualification as a doctor, he was quite a good doctor, I mean in that sense, for normal things. He didn't have any specialty, And a very fine person. Jivan Bhai, I don't need to say anything because
She
Asia,
just,
it is
yeah,
not
she-
Isha, Asia.
Asia, she just passed away.
Oh, Asia passed away?
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I didn't know her much at all. I have met her a few times, but I didn't know her. But Sriram had spoken many things about her, that I know.
Oh,
Yeah, she was a wonderful girl, something.
Yes.
extraordinary.
Extraordinary
girl,
girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jyotinda, which Jyotinda are you speaking about? There
Gar-
was
the gardener
gardener. Because,
with Parichand.
uh, in his sadhana he must have been very intense, that I cannot say. But he was very, what shall I say? I told you a story last time, I think, about Jyotinda and Biranda. That Biranda had climbed up the tree which was supposed to be looked after by him, and he pulled him down with a stick. But it's all right. Kake, of course, you all know
And
about.
we have the stories,
Yes.
yes.
Kapali Shastri, I knew him as a kid. When he, yes. He was a wonderful man, but he hardly spoke to others, He was a Sanskrit scholar, and I am told even Sri Aurobindo used to consult him at times. Anything doubt about Sanskrit and all that, Sri Aurobindo used to write to him. That's what I have been told. I don't know. Kumud, of course, you know. Lalit. Which Lalit?
I suppose the American, was he?
There was one Lalit coach. You mean
Yeah,
that
the
one?
coach, yes.
Oh, yes. That he was there.
Yeah.
He came. He stopped coming nowadays, isn't it?
Yeah. I think so.
I had no contact with him. Madhav Pandit, of course, I knew him very well. Madhav Pandit was originally disciple of Kapali Shastri.
Yes.
Milidi Jumu's mother. She came the same time, we were very close. I mean,
She was a singer.
Minidi was
Oh,
the singer.
Minity was the singer.
Milidi
Ah.
could sing a little, but she was not a singer.
Ah,
Milidi was Jumu's mother.
ah.
And Minidi's brother's wife, that is sister-in-law, how do you say?
Mhm.
Anilda's wife, Milidi. But she was very close to mother. Mona Pinto, you all know about the perfectionist she was. Moni, which Moni?
Early disciple of Sri Aurobindo.
Oh,
Yes, very early.
He was a wonderful man. You know, there were many stories going around in his name which are not true. He was a very powerful writer in Bengali. Very powerful writer in Bengali. It's strange. You know where Shattanda used to stay? Publication department, you know? That corner small room is there. Just next to that there was another room. There used to be one Shattanda. And Mani used to come to him every day at around 4:35 to have his tea. And I used to learn French from Shattanda at that time. So he was very, very nice, very friendly and all that. And although it was rumored that he couldn't accept mother and all that is wrong. All that is wrong. He didn't mix very freely, but when he came here first, you know, to look for Sri Aurobido's room and all that, he's the one who found out where Sri Aurobindo will stay the first time. He was sent in advance.
He was one of his freedom fighters.
Yes.
And I remember that photo with him and Sri Aurobindo and others.
He found out the first room, then he was here. And as they were very young, Nalini, Moni, they used to play football, you know, for Pondicherry. And what is the garden here now, this park? That was the men's football ground in those days. And they have represented Pondicherry in football. Mani was known as Chakra. He was Mani Chakravarti. In Pondicherry, in the old time knew him as Chakra. But he passed away, I think, within 1 year of Sri Aurobido's passing away. He used to live utterly upstairs, you know, that time it wasn't like that. New constructions were not there. Main ground floor and above that was Mani's quarters.
Monsieur Andre.
Mildi, Moni. Monsieur Andre was a very, very rational man. Very, very rational man. I came in contact with him especially during the centenary publications time, because mother sent word through him to me that I should look after it and I should. And then, you know, every week we had a meeting and he was very much responsible for putting order in the press, you know, systematize the things, like programming, tracking, and the work had to be completed within a certain time. But for him and his guidance, it would have been very, very difficult. He was an excellent organizer. Nirod Barona, I don't have to say anything. Nishikanta. He was a fantastic poet in Bengali. And he was a very good artist also. Yes, he did his art course in Shantiniketan. And he was favorite of Rabindranath Tagore. He used to write wonderful poetry in Bengali. Wonderful. Sri Aurobindo has spoken very highly about him.
I met him.
You met him?
Aurobindo Basu took me to his birthday party.
Okay, he was
loved
very fond of eating.
Very fond of eating. And he reminded me of a great Chinese emperor. He had a huge face.
Yes.
And so humorous, so kind. But I was just a young man and I didn't meet him again.
He was wonderful. The first time we came here, you know, we went to Balkanization. In those days there were no bus services. From Chennai we came by train. Early morning we arrived here and we were put up what was the dortoir before. And the playground was just like a jungle, it was attached to that. So after balkanization we went to the pier, old pier. And he was sitting there watching the sunrise. And the three of us, myself, my brother Konok, you have seen Konok, and Chobi, my sister. So we knew he was a great poet and all that. And someone introduced us, this is Kavi Nishikanta. And I asked him, then the three of us said, here, why don't you write 2 lines with our names in it? And in a second, what he said, in Bengali, I'll explain it to you. Robir konoko chobi, dakhe boshe kanto kobi. That means Robi is sun, Konak is gold, and Chobi is picture. This is the golden picture of the sun. This Kanto Kobi is looking at it immediately.
How beautiful.
You see, once the newspaper room which was there, which became later on Ravindra's fruit room, notice board is there, ashram, the next room, not the small room, next one. That was the newspaper room. And in the early days, once there was a big discussion that how Sri Aurobindo came here and why people have come and all those things. They were having a very heated discussion, each one having his own viewpoint. He listened to it all and he composed 4 lines in Bengali. I'll repeat the lines and translate it.
Yes.
He said, Photar khabor daini golap, golap shudui phutlo. That was the rose did not announce its arrival, it just bloomed, it just blossomed. Gunjoria, Gunjoria, Bhramor eshe jutlo. And all the bees came humming by. Beautiful, straight away he composed that. He was wonderful. But so fond of eating, once he ate a lot and then he drank the vinegar thinking that it will cure him, and that's how he got ulcers. Then he had diabetes. He was in a diabetic coma. And he said that before I die, I want to see the mother once. He was carried to the meditation hall. You know about that?
Yes, but please tell it's a great
I was
story.
there.
Wonderful story.
Mother came down and Nishikanta said, just put your feet here. Mother put her foot there, just like that. I was there. Believe me, he was in a diabetic coma and Dr. Sen, he said he has no chance of living. He lived after that for another 10 or 12 years. Even more, I think.
Till centenary, 72.
Till 72. And this thing happened, I think, sometime in the 50s. He had tremendous faith.
And there is a follow-up to that story.
What is it?
And I heard it from, I believe, Aurobindo Basu. He said, can you imagine if mother had put both of her feet?
It was wonderful.
And of course, Norin Singh, you remember?
Naren Singh, Nalinda, of course I don't have to say.
Right.
Porichand was a very amicable person, He was he's the one who said that he really developed the gardening service in ashram. And you must know him very well.
Very well.
Pavitra, of course, knew him very well, but not intimately as such. And he used to come to the grounds, tennis ground, play tennis. Every day we were meeting and we were chatting. He was quite humorous also. Yes. Dr. Ramchandra had a tiny dog like that. And whenever Lakshmi Bai, his wife, came to the ashram, she would bring that pup. It will go up to Pavitra's room and run straight to Sri Aurobindo bed there. Every day it used to do that. And Pavitra, he was quite amused and he used to say, oh, that son of a bitch has come. So now I don't have to say anything. Prithvi Singh, he was a very dedicated worker. He lost his eyes. That was his basic problem in the old age. Sri Aurobindo had tremendous confidence in him, in his accuracy. When the books went for publication, first he's the one who typed out everything. And he used to do the proofreading without a mistake.
I see.
Absolutely.
And I'm told he is one of the few who could decipher Sri Aurobindo's
Yes.
later handwriting.
Absolutely. He's one of the very few. Purani, his vital enthusiasm and strength was tremendous. I mean, people may say anything, but he was not really a great intellectual. He was more a doer. And of course, his love for Sri Aurobindo, what it was. Ravindra, he was, when he first came, some people went to the dining hall and some people, the tiffin carrier was supplied to them. There was a big cart like that. And tiffin carriers were put there, and Ravindra used to pull that and deliver from house to house. That is how it started. Then of course he was in charge of the dining hall. Then ultimately became distribution of work, who will do what work and all that. Satprem, of course you know all about him.
But you had to work with him?
Yes, not very much, but I had a lot of contact with him. In connection with prints and all that, mainly. I had a good rapport with him.
And now we have the families, Sujata, Sumitra,
Of course.
Suprabha.
We have, you see, Sumitra, Suprabha, myself, we have grown up together. We have grown up together. You ask Suprabha, she will tell you. I mean, it was like one family. Tanmay, not Tanmayi, Tanmay. When he came here first, he was a journalist in Indochina in those days, that is Vietnam. He came here and I remember the second or third day, he had no idea about the place, but he had heard about it and he had read some books in French. So he had come to the studio where Chiman Bhai used to stay, and I was working with Chiman Bhai then. And then we were having a discussion. He was interested in a little bit of amateur photographer when he first came, because he was a journalist. We asked him, how long do you intend staying here? And first, you see, I have come here for about 6 or 8 months. As soon as I have had the realization, I will go back. That's the typical outsider's view here. But then he came very close to the mother. And mother, the new system of education that mother wanted.
The free system.
Yes. She had enormous confidence in him. He couldn't implement it fully because there was a lot of obstruction. And mother once commented, Adra had told me, that if only they had allowed Tanmay to work out as he wanted. She was at one point dissatisfied with what was happening, and she commented this, if only they had allowed Tanmay to do as he wanted. She had so much confidence in him. Uttar, of course, I don't have to say anything. Vasudha I knew a little, but she was the one who used to look after mother before Kumud. Because of her illness, Kumud got there.
Right.
And that also there is a story, not many people know about it. He had tremendous willpower. He was teaching economics.
Right.
And I'm told he was a good economist himself, I don't know.
He used to take class in dining room.
Yes.
Ted Prakash.
Yeah. I was his student.
Oh.
Shunilda, of course, was my hero from my childhood. We were related, no?
Oh.
He married my sister, Gauri. But even before that, we knew each other very well. And at one point, in that house, art house upstairs, we were sleeping on the same room, 2 beds side by side. I was then 11 years old. Sunilda was my hero. Oh, he was a wonderful person. When people ask me who's the best man in the world, I say Shunidar.
And he was a Renaissance man. He could do anything, huh?
Anything. Anything.
He reached very high level of music, even mother said.
You know, he was very high level of maths, science, and in music you will not believe. You will not believe what he achieved. He was a wonderful man. See, when he passed away, I was holding his hand at the nursing home. And there was a picture of the mother in front. And he said, it's all over, but the light. Tammy Bim, I used to meet her almost every day in the bulletin office because we used to have our chat there, you know, over a cup of tea, Nirod, myself, Jan Tilal, Tammy Ben, Wilfie, every day for about an hour. Satna will drop in, Amal Kiran. She was very serious type, and very sincere. She was a great, you know, painting on cloth, she was excellent. Bulada spoke straight from his heart. He would even scold the mother. I remember on one occasion, in one of the boardings, some bulbs went off. And then Bulada was called because he was in charge of the electricity department. So he carried a ladder in those days, he went up, changed the bulb and came back. And then went up straight to the mother and told her, you said children are not to study at home. They are given free period so that they finish their studies in the school itself. That is what mother used to insist on. Then why is this I have to go and change a bulb at midnight? Because they cannot read otherwise. Bansidhar, how come you are not asking anyone about Sutapa?
Because it's an unfinished list. So
You should add
No, you
Sutapa.
can, if you remember
please.
any other persons.
Yes,
whom
please add
you-
to.
No, Sutapa, we were partners in tennis, table tennis, and we knew each other very well. Very well. She was a very serious person. Very serious person. She was very good in games. And her devotion to mother was absolutely fathomless.
And Rajuta?
Rijuta I knew very little, but very nice person, very nice person. She gave up everything for being with the mother. She was here. You know, that house, the house that was built for her, that was our garden. You know, once we had asked mother about a small place for making a garden. We were growing tomatoes and things like that. That patch was us, myself, Avashing, and Orun. You remember Orun? It was ours. Then after that it was taken over by Gama for his small poultry. And after that it became Rijuta's house. And her husband, Michael, loved her so much, you will not believe how much he loved her. Till the end. He passed away at Vellore Hospital.
I met him, yes.
He was also a very fine man. First he wouldn't believe in anything. He was very angry with the ashram. They had taken away his wife. You know, she was a very good horse rider, Rijuta. Well, that's all. Your
Yes.
list is
Any remembrance of Champakalji?
Champaklal, yes, we were very close, and Champaklal was very much interested in art. So whenever mother will review my pictures and discuss art and all that, Champaklal was always there. And he often discussed with me. Often.
So coming back to your time, you had Venkatesh, Vidyavrat, photo,
Chiman.
Chimanbai. So that, tell something about your photographers batch of your time. How good they were in photography, what did you used to discuss together, things of that sort.
I will tell you what mother said. You know, we had to take pictures for the sports, athletics competition and all that. All four of us were there. So one day mother told me, I am interested in seeing the pictures you have taken yesterday. So I asked her why. This is while I was sitting there, I saw your artistic being coming to the front. And then I took the pictures and mother liked them very much. And she used to be very frank. She said Venkatesh is the best artist, without any doubt. Venkatesh was otherwise a crackpot, but he was a very good photographer. He went mad for some time, then he came back. I mean, he was a very difficult person, but he was a very good artist. Vidyavrat, instinctively, he took many good pictures without being aware of what is nice. I mean, he couldn't quite analyze. Instinctively he took pictures well. Chiman was technically very good. Chiman taught me, the entire island photography from Chiman. As I told you last time.
Yes.
So, Chiman technically was very good. Creativity was not there so much. But one funny thing happened, we were not allowed to take mother's picture. I don't know if I've told you already last time. In the Leica camera, in any 35mm, when you loaded the film, you had to give 3 blank exposures so that the film crossed, and the real thing.
Right.
So while doing that, mother was standing in front, her place, in the sports ground. And at that time, no one was allowed to take pictures, mother's picture. And while he was just releasing the shuttle like that, after developing the film, he saw one picture of mother there, in one of the exposures, because the cap was open. It was all shaky and all that. So he went and told mother that, this has happened accidentally. What do I do? Mother said, you bring me a copy of the picture. You make a print and bring it to me. It was all elongated, mother elongated and all that shaky. Mother looked and said, this is my true form. So things like that.
Well, you've shared so much with us, Robi, and we're very grateful.
Whatever I can recollect.
So that time the photography was with the films.
It was only digital has come recently.
Now what are the advantages, disadvantages, the change over to digital? What do we see?
See, the thing is this. With digital, you don't have to spend money, you can go on shooting randomly. And some pictures will come maybe, if you have the creative eye, you're likely to succeed. And on the computer, you can do correction of tones, color balance, all that very accurately. Color photography was very difficult in those days. Otherwise, digital offers you a lot of scope. That's what I was telling you. If Ansel Adams had a digital camera in his hands, he would have just created wonders. He really would have. But the joy of working in the dark room, in the darkness, red light and all that, you make a print and as the image appears in the developing tray, it gives you a different joy altogether. Working with your hands. You can do many more things in digital, but that joy it doesn't give me. I sit at the computer maybe for 2-3 hours every day now, Just like that, for the creative joy it gives me. But the darkroom work was fantastic. This was my darkroom here and the studio was here.
Don't you also feel that the concentration had to be much more with films?
Absolutely, absolutely. You don't shoot madly like you do today.
No.
You had to be absolutely sure. And it was, until you established an empathy with the subject, you identified with the subject,
Yes.
you became the subject yourself.
Yes.
You didn't click.
And very costly.
Very costly. But
So each frame had to count.
yes, each frame counted. Each frame counted. And everyone was shooting very consciously, not like today, random shooting.
Yes.
That is there. See, when I see Raghu Rai shooting, in a day he shoots 500 to 600 pictures. He is happy if he gets one picture satisfactory.
Yeah.
He has very good pictures, no doubt. He has the seeing eye. But he just goes on shooting, You'll see in a day he has shot at least 200 horrible pictures also. It's not like that. See, for example, in the field camera, as Ansel Adams, Edward Weston and all that, everything under control. Everything. They knew exactly what they were doing. One had to be much more conscious, much more conscious.
Yes.
That was very essential.
That message you used to tell, mother gave message to some
Federation of Indian
Federation of
Photography.
Photography.
Mother said that photography is an art when the photographer is an artist.
Yes.
So what do you tell these young photographers, those are budding photographers, so what are the things they should keep in mind when they want to do good photography?
I tell them to learn to see. You see, for the process of photography, what is it? You are attracted by a subject. You have to find out what is the essence of that attraction, See, a large scene is there. Something particularly, you go to the essence, you establish a relation with that, and then you shoot, See, it was good photographers, had at least 50% good pictures, not like today. Today it is just random.
And composition.
Yes, everything, composition, focus, the control of aperture, that is not there today. See what happens when you shoot digitally. You have to sharpen a little afterwards. And when you sharpen the background which is supposed to be out of focus, that also gets sharpened automatically when you sharpen. In a blog I had participated. In the olden days, you open up the aperture and the background used to be delightfully out of focus. And I said, today's digital cameras and today's lenses never gives you that effect. And surprisingly, Nikon company replied to that. They said, we are working on a lens which will give such a similar result. They are still working, many lenses have come out now, which gives that soft focus effect, delightfully out of focus.
And in flower photography,
Oh,
macro photography, it's very critical.
it's absolutely critical, absolutely. Absolutely critical.
Can you show some of your photos? Last time we had asked you
Old photos,
some black and white of your masterpieces.
not masterpieces. I used to try that so. I'll show you a few portraits that are, what happened. We were exhibiting all over the world. We were taking pictures and all that. Then by an accident, all my negatives got spoiled. And I was I will not say depressed because I was hardly ever depressed. I felt very bad about it. And then I thought about it and I thought, why should I be so much attached to what I have done? And in a fit of insensitivity, I tore up at least 350 or 400 prints, whatever I had, which I used to exhibit and all that. So I can show you a few of what remained after that. Just a few portraits I will show you. I can show you The actor's son, he's a professor in America now. Him. Girdhari Lal, he was here.
He is silence, no? That
Yes.
silence book.
This is a French doctor.
Oh, the lighting is
Kake.
beautiful. Ah,
This is not old. This, of course, is very old picture. Chom.
Joe.
This is the Montagnais.
This is dark mood work.
Two negatives combined.
Yeah.
See, this is how Aurobindo was to start with. Absolutely.
Oh, I remember it very well. Canyons.
This is taken on the stage, actual 1st December in the playground. The stage used to be made. Then when the
Who are the persons? That is Shobhadi.
one is Shobha, the other is, the one who looks after the handmade paper, her sister. And this is Rose. Rose is still there, I think, in Amrita's office.
Reba, we
Reba's sister.
did an interview with Reba.
Yes, this is Reba's elder sister,
sister.
Krishna. She was a very good dancer.
Oh, look at this.
This is Light, my niece.
Ah.
In the green room, while they were making up. This is Gauri Pinto. Chumur. This is a doctor now. She used to come here. This you should be able to recognize. Tulsa.
Oh, I see. Right, they have similar faces.
This was one of the first pictures I shot. And it was published in many places, photography yearbook and this I kept as a record. These were the lights I was using. So this of course is new, recent. This is digital.
So you're still doing some work.
A little bit.
Where little bit 3 hours is not really
No, that I play around because it gives me creative pleasure, not serious work. Gama. Mona's elder brother, who is to look after the poultry.
Beautiful.
Chom.
Oh,
This is at the tennis ground. This is Chimanmai. We had gone out to shoot together. Then while he was taking a picture, I shot.
It was very windy that time.
Not very. Because you remember, he still comes now. He is my age. See, this picture I took specially, I combined with a negative. He used to lose his temper. Otherwise, he was very amiable, very nice chap. But in basketball and other things, games, he used to lose his temper. So I wanted to show him what he looked like when he lost his temper. That's
So what was his reaction?
no, we are very good friends. This is at the poultry. This was a lame rickshawala who used to pull the rickshaw. He was a very handsome man. While I was sitting on his rickshaw, I shot this near the pier here, old pier.
These are about 50, 60 years old photos.
These prints, they were made in the 1950s, 1950, 52, 53, like that.
more than
These prints also are old. Even this. See, he was a dancer from Shantiniketan who had come here. He was Jayanthalal's friend.
These prints have a very long life.
Yes.
But these days, you don't have that.
This is a new print, not such a good print because this is Chom again. So these are some of the pictures.
oh, thank you so much. That was special for me.
I mean, I still have about
And portrait was your favorite? What was your favorite portrait?
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely. And in portraiture, Yusuf Karsh, you must have heard his name.
Oh,
He had a big influence on me. But is it digital work is, you know, frankly, if you ask me, color photography is often it looks like illustration to me, you know. Still, we have yet to find accepting Ernest Haas, who used to take great pictures.
yes.
I try to modify that.
No one has done a rose like
Yes.
Ernst Haas.
This is in
Look at that.
Shantiniketan. No, I have got some pictures elsewhere.
These are your present creations.
Huh?
These are your present works that you do.
These, just like that. It's not serious work. Not serious at all. I like to experiment a little. I've seen there is something here. Please be seated. These are experimental works. This is through this window.
And how did you do this one?
This in Photoshop, and I modify
Oh, in
it.
Photoshop.
Just
You see, basically what happens, because I use a very ordinary camera. The better cameras are heavy and my hand shakes, you know, I can't hold it for long. These are all taken with consumer cameras, you know, 5 megapixel, 6 megapixel. This also is taken through my window.
Have you read anything about the new mirrorless cameras?
I'm using a mirrorless camera.
Are you? You like it?
Very much.
Ah,
It's so absolutely sweet, you know,
and not heavy.
not heavy. That's what I'm
there is a new
using.
technology now.
Huh?
Mirrorless in future.
Yes. But the lens quality is not that good, you know.
No,
what I'm using.
not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, that's beautiful.
This is all. But not serious work, mind you. Just
Oh no, they are very beautiful. You have created a lot of abstractism in.
because I told you, I find straight digital color prints almost like illustrations only. That I don't like.
Oh.
Some photographers-
Dominique.
Yes.
That's my friend Dominique. Oh, how nice.
Oh,
My
this
goodness.
is recent photo?
Yes, you really caught her so beautifully.
I took it in one of the Shilpataru exhibitions. She had
Oh,
come there.
Ah,
Yeah, she has come for this time also.
No,
There was
still she had
and
come.
she's still here. She's still here. She comes to Om Choir.
See, basically I started experimenting because I was taking with a 2 megapixel camera and the noise will be there.
Yeah.
So to reduce the noise, I tried to create effects so that you don't see the noise. And that's how it all started.
Megapixel is one thing, but the quality of the lens is something
Yes,
else.
and also there, you know, in that megapixel, it's really the, what do you call that? The thing which, this CMOS and all that, you know.
Yes.
Sensor.
The
The
sensor,
sensor,
it depends
yes.
on that.
It does, yes.
This is just outside.
And they are actually making a lot of advances with sensors
Yes.
now.
Fantastic
Yeah.
advances. Now this I'll ask you. I was sitting with a photographer from Calcutta, just here. And I told him digitally you can change anything into anything. So this table is there, can you make a landscape out of this? I said, let me try. The starting point is a picture of this table.
Yes.
That's amazing.
See, already discoloration has started.
But this is quite something.
They're almost like painting, some of the effects like impressionist style, you know.
This is again through this window.
Oh,
This window is my opening really.
yes.
Very nice.
And this you surely recognize.
Yes. Look at
We are
that.
sitting on it.
Yes.
Oh, very nice. But these are better cameras. These are much sharper.
Not very. All 5 megapixel, 6 megapixel camera. There was a competition and one of the editors, he was a friend of mine. His father was really a friend of mine in America and this man is a photographer. And there was a competition, the haunted house, he asked me to take. I did this, but it didn't come out well.
I'd like to ask you, Robi, about lenses, the Japanese lenses versus the Leica. In the top Japanese lenses.
You see, the top Japanese lenses are good. There's no doubt about it. But the Leica lenses were superior. You know, the roundness it
I
gave.
see.
See, the Japanese lenses, they have what is called acutance. Acutance is, from one tone to another, there's a distinct shift. Whereas the roundness that you could obtain with the old lenses, you don't get that today. And to get those lenses, it costs, 5-6 lakhs today. Things have become so expensive. This is just outside. This tree, fell in one of the storms.
And what about no, I lost it. What about single lens reflex versus our other cameras, the Rollies and the Hasselblads?
See, I have used mostly Robi and Hasselblad. Before that, I have used this speed graphic, the typical American camera. Frankly, I was very much accustomed to them. And the Leica, of course, I have used. Today's cameras are different, The convenience of shooting is there. You don't have to worry about anything.
Yes.
This you surely recognize. Where is it?
Yeah.
Hmm?
So do you have your old cameras still?
I have one Rolleiflex still, which I gave for servicing and they mucked it up completely. I don't know, you're getting tired now, I suppose. Some small prints there, those pillows. This is the
But your compositions are excellent. It's a
Grill.
very simple thing,
This is the
but you
grill.
made it very beautiful.
Oh, look at that. The creative eye,
Yeah.
you see. There's the difference.
Photography is an art if the photographer is an artist. So that you're an example.
Pillow. Bed.
Yeah.
This you have seen.
This we've seen, yes.
These are just windows upstairs.
Hmm.
Now you see, I can't go out. I would like to take some landscapes, but I can't go out.
What about a series on the Matrimandir if I arranged everything?
I can't stand for long. I feel giddy. And you know, shooting is
Oh,
absolute total absorption. You have to forget everything else.
right.
With this physical disability, you know, I feel very frustrated. This you recognize the place? There.
Right here, right here.
This is upstairs, just an abstraction.
Yeah, very nice.
Hmm.
Again, an abstraction.
So many
I do like a lot of abstract photography.
I am
creative,
doing.
so many creative sides to your work. Look at that. Photoshop, huh?
Yes.
Cane chair.
This is just this front, outside.
Mm-hmm. So for processing color now, what do you do?
I do it on the computer.
And printing?
Printing.
You use someone?
No, first I was using this inkjet printer. The inks are very expensive, and if you don't use it for a few days, you know, the nozzles get
I
clogged.
know.
So now I get printed outside. I have seen you sometimes.
You
I
have a-
hardly print. I have many. I have at least 300-400 pictures which I have not printed.
You have a good lab in Pandi.
Fairly good. But whether the lasting quality, you know, their processing is
The
all right.
inks, I heard the inks were not very lasting.
No, there are inks which last, but you don't have a lab which gives you inkjet printing. These are, you know, photographic paper.
Yeah. Well, I also explored laser color, and it's not there yet.
No, not there.
Far from it.
I'm doing a lot of abstraction now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay, yes.
Look at that. Ah,
So we have a lot of abstract photography. I'll
That's
bring
what I
mine
enjoy
and-
doing.
I'll bring and show you mine. That's
I would
what-
like to see. This you have seen also.
wow. Looks almost like a banana.
Trunks, really.
Banana trunks, yeah.
So now you have good mastery over Photoshop.
No, I've never learned
No,
it. I use a few things and I forget again.
The effects you are creating.
This is a very special one for me. Yes. Just look at that.
This is in Shantiniketan. is in Bharat Divas.
Hmm.
That was again through the window.
Mhm. Extraordinary work.
So there are now cupboards full
This
of
is
photos.
just behind Nante.
Hmm.
The play of light and some.
Akmal's daughter.
Oh.
Akmal came here one day with his daughter, taken with his camera only.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Also the same person. All taken here. This is an Aurobindo artist, Hank.
Yes. Mhm.
He's by the side of one of his creations.
Nice.
This is a painter in Shantiniketan. So like that, this keeps me from going senile, at least. If you have nothing to do, it's very difficult.
But at 82, that creative force is still so alive in you.
No, I am still participating in some exhibitions, some select
Yes,
exhibitions.
yes.
So that's how.
I shall have to go.
Oh yes,
Another
it's been a long
project.
time.
It's been wonderful, Robi. And I hope to see you on my return.
I hope so.
And maybe show you a couple of photos from Mother's Garden in Georgia.
Yes, I would love to see them.
The Japanese iris are extraordinary, and
I would like to see
the
them.
peonies, just marvelous. Thank you so much.